everybody? This is your girl Ericka from my Classic Crime blog. Again, I've been to put this to my shirt, but it is what it is. I'm only going to be out here 20 minutes. You're going to roll down the road. I wanted to highlight a story I put on my Instagram about a man who's been living in Boston for 34 years in the same exact apartment building. And now the landlord is putting him out, eviction style. Why? Because the landlord wants a family member to move in. Now you can say, Ericka, 34 years? That man's been there 34. Yes, he's been there 34 years. 34 years is enough to pay the mortgage for that building and then some. Part of the problem we have out here is we can't tell people the truth. That renting is temporary, right? The reason the Irish people left so in heavy numbers is, yes, the potato famine, but a lot of the landlords were ripping roofs off the buildings and people were dying from it, right? Exposure. And long and the story short, when you talk about that, they had a lot of landlord uprisings where they were basically attacking and unalive landlords in Ireland too at the time. But the biggest thing is when you hear somebody's been in one spot, one location for 34 years, and I get it, above Virginia line, it's different. More people think, well, I just want to rent, I don't want to own, or it's too expensive in New York. If you don't have any, it's just basics, and I've talked about this before about level 1, level 2, level 3 basics. Level 1 basic is once you got the job and the income and you're steady, you're good to go. Okay, now you can go on to level 1 is basically get a car and get a house. That's level 1 of credit. Can I get a car? Can I get a house? This guy's been 34 years in the same apartment, so you know, like level 2 at some point for him should have been, how can I get into a house? Now most people say, Ericka, everybody doesn't want a home. That's not fair. The landlord did that, but it is. It's the landlord's property. I don't care if he wanted a monkey to move in the unit. He can do that. I, of course, put it on Instagram, and, you know, Instagram is the sea of eat the rich, landlords are bad, but I actually am pleasantly surprised so many people would be like, dude, like, landlord can do whatever he wants. It's his place. And the problem there lies with bare. All this goes back to the fact of bare minimum. We know what we're supposed to do in general. But people, if they can get away with bare minimum, that's what they will do. They will do bare minimum activity. If they, you know, bare minimum, you know, child support, bare minimum jobs, bare minimum, baby mama drama, bare minimum in relationships, you know, all this cohabitation sky high. And I get it because people, if allowed, will do bare minimum. And so guy pretty much is like, hey, I'm paying my rent. Now, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying the landlord maybe could give an extra month or two, but at the end of the day, if I've got a family member and their house burns down and they need somewhere to live, baby, best believe I'm getting you out. Now, people in the comments are like, family doesn't pay. No, your family doesn't pay. If you got family living in Boston and it's $3,000, $4,000 to live a month, and you ask them for $1,000, I'm pretty sure you're getting that $1,000. No matter what people try to say, you're going to get that $1,000 out of your family member if you're being nice. Because if you've been there 34 years, I mean, I'm pretty sure that man rent started at $4.99 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's taken years for him to even get up maybe to $2,000 a month. I don't know. He's got to be way under current market rate, way under. The part of me even bringing this up is common sense is monopoly, right? Like, you get up, you collect. I mean, the whole game is you get up, you go to work, you collect these tokens, right? Like, let's break it down to children level. You collect these tokens, you exchange these tokens for things. Now, some of y'all have gotten stuck in the producer side of things, right? And I'm going to say this, and again, I'm talking about African-American community, but in Boston, average African-American has less than $400 or something crazy. Again, not that many black people in Boston to begin with. So when they did this survey, I'm like, who did you survey? Did you go to the project? Did you walk up on random black people? Where'd you get this survey numbers from, right? It's very interesting. The title is very kind. Listen, I just typed up something real quick. I didn't care. At the end of the day, you understood what the sentence said, right? Yet, man kicked out after 34 years, right? But part of the problem is we don't we're expecting the school to do it, right? I just saw a video too, and this is, I mean, I wish I could share more of these videos when I'm driving, right? It's a young, nonverbal black boy with some pigtails in his hair. I don't know why, it just is. And he's running from a like white teacher or white like janitor type figure. And the white man slaps him across the back of his head and he falls. His head falls all the way down. Now, that's horrible. He's nonverbal. He has autism. I don't care what nobody says. The public, and I know teachers who tell me this word for word. Even though the law, there is protection under the law. The law says, you know, kids with special needs have to be allowed at these schools. It's very, very, very hard for teachers or even the school system to really even provide basic care to your child. Now your child doesn't speak, doesn't write, doesn't do any, like there isn't much the school can do, and you're using the school as a babysitting service. At some point in this journey, you have to put your child in a different type of school system or a special needs school. Now there's money, the government has money for this. Their cities have money for this. There's scholarship programs. There's countless ways that this can get done. But at the end of the day, the more people I talk to who are like, well, my child has a legal right to be at school. It doesn't matter what their legal right is. Can it be enforced? Can it be protected? This is the same thing with the guy living in Boston for 34 years. Hey, man, I've been paying my rent. I never messed up on paying my rent. Hey, man, that's great. That's great. I'm so glad you paid your rent. That's what a law-abiding citizen should do. But that, so what? Like, that's his place. He can let you get out any moment, right? And what I want to encourage you to do in this season of life is, yes, if you're working a job, really do the math, right? All the videos you guys see of people crying about inflation are mostly comical to me, because at the end of the day, that's a pen and paper issue. Okay, I only make this much. This is how much I get a month. Deduct all that, right? Like the only reason people are, in my opinion, crying about inflation is either they don't have credit cards and they're having to live on their actual income. So it feels extremely tight, extremely depressing, like they're extremely frustrated because they're like, damn, I don't really make no money. And then, and then they're having to really like look at it. They're really having to look at it. So one lady was complaining about, oh, I just have enough, you know, for food and to pay my bills. And when my daughter goes stays with her dad some weeks, I basically just eat bologna sandwiches. I'm like, what? Right? Because at the end of the day, for me, I already know the math. You know, you get a whole chicken, you can get a bag of rice, for 100-pound bag of rice, a bunch of beans, right? Every once in a while, I mean, literally, you can grow your own veggies at your house. No one's stopping you from doing that. But what happens is people are not being truthful, right? And if one credit card gets cut up, or they have no credit cards, they're really having to live on what their income is. And no one wants to go, man, I don't make enough income. What should I do? Right? Because let me be very clear. Most people say my job is stressful. It's really stressful, Ericka. You don't understand. It's stressing me out. It's a lot of hard work. And I get it. I'm not going to take that from anybody. I get it. If you work 40 hours a week, no matter the job, it may be mentally tasking for you. I'm not going to take that away from you. But the math is the math, right? If you feel like, you know, and I've done this a million times on this channel, I'm like, what is the type of life you want to live? See, people don't want to be honest with themselves. Like, they want a rich husband and they marry Plumber Earl, and Plumber Earl, what if he don't go open his own plumbing business? What if he just does well as a plumber, which you can live pretty well as a plumber right now, really well in America. But you need to be honest about yourself. What type of life are y'all gonna live? What's the numbers? What numbers do you need to contribute, right? Like this ideal that, you know, I'll be careful here, but the ideal that, you know, someone's gonna come along and rescue you and give you the life you desire. No, it's not happening. Will a husband help you financially? Heck yeah. Spiritually, physically, mentally, yes. Having a partner in your life to ride or die with you is helpful. But at the end of the day, you need to know the math whether that person stays or goes. You need to know the math whether that person's in your life or not. Can you afford a house if they're not here? What type of house can you truly afford if they're not here? Is it a townhouse? Is it a condo? Then that's your level, right? People really don't want to hear that. That's the math nobody wants to hear. Starting a business is a wonderful thing. But if you are not financially sound when you start the business, it's going to be a lot of grinding. It's 2 to 3 years of grinding, right? So when I would tell people I have a internet business or a YouTube business, and I'm struggling, and they're just looking at me crazy, like, what? It's all digital, and I'm like, does it mean it ain't work, right? The 4 pillars of what our company, most YouTubers or media companies are. We got digital products, we have coaching and consulting, we have events, and then we have affiliate marketing. Majority of people, those 4 pillars. And once you get into I don't know what the word is, optimization, whatever the word is, it's on repeat, income on repeat. Then it's like, oh man, business is easy, right? Well, but if you want to grow even more, now you got to add a social media manager or an accountant or a few different steps to it. The average person wants to do bare minimum. So you'll talk to them, right? Prime example, the other day when he was talking about people in New York upset about Airbnb, man, that's been a law, right? Like if I'm a person who's going to make all my money off real estate, I'm going to be on realdeal.com. I've told y'all this. It is like the perfect combination of gossip magazine for real estate and opportunities of where money's moving in our economy. Perfect website for it. And I understand why they charge $49 a month. They got some specials you can get in, but literally it's like cutting edge. Like this is this bank, this is who's doing this. This is where the money's going. This is where they're building in Texas. This is where they're building in Florida. Like they literally give you everything, right? As much as possible. And if you're paying attention, you can tap in. The average person wants to do bare minimum though. Oh, Eric, I work 40 hours a week and my life should still be Gucci. It should be great. I should be able to buy the best sneakers. I should be able to go on all the trips. I always encourage you to take a sheet of paper and really write out with your actual paycheck, not your credit cards, none of that mess. With your actual paycheck, your budget for the month. So like shocked. I'm like, why are there so many budget videos? Like it's, you know what I mean? Like, but there's a million ways for people to hear something and receive it. Same thing with retirement videos. Like, hey, why are there so many retirement and investment videos? Why are there so many stock? The information is golden, right? Like, I'm not going to take away from anybody's channel, but it's pretty 101. It's economics 101. It's like, hey, I'm going to take 25% of my money and put it away. Now, the return, again, this is where people have to learn the rate of return, right? 6% interest, right? 72 divided by whatever interest rate it is. Now you figure out, okay, well, if I'm only getting 3% across the average off my 401k, that ain't gonna cut it. 3% a year ain't even gonna keep up with inflation, right? So now, but if you're putting the money away, again, key part what he's talking about is the guy kept buying properties cash and he couldn't figure out how. Well, he was putting money into his stock market account, probably getting matched by his employer or whatnot, and being able to take a loan against those stocks. That's a real deal technique. I've talked about it in the funding bundle. I talked about 3 or 4 banks that do it in the funding bundle. There's a ton of banks that do it because they want to have those assets on their books. And so when you know that, okay, I'm going to be building towards what, right? I got to be building towards something. I have to have a goal. The whole, I'm just going to get up every day and do the same work for 30 years and pay the same rent for 34 years at one location. That don't make no sense. Now, I can't fully see somebody put something about advantage, and I'm going to read it because I'm getting ready to stop to grab this plate of food here. But my whole thing to that is when people sit here and tell you they don't understand how this economy works or certain things are unfair, it doesn't make sense. It's everywhere. The information is everywhere. Again, it depends on your algorithm. It depends on what you're looking for. If you're not looking for the information, yes, life can be hard. If you're not looking for the information that tells you, hey, you need to be investing, you need to be putting money away. Let's just say your parents didn't tell you any of this, and that's fine. That does happen to people. But now that you're an adult, you can't get away from the fact that the knowledge is everywhere. Like, it's in your phone, right? Right? If you're on Facebook all day, just hearing gossip and stories, That's pretty much that's your problem. That's not nobody else's problem but yours. Now you have to at some point look at it. Now, prime example, when people get hired on, the company makes them fill all this paperwork and they hate it. They're like, oh shit, I hate all this paperwork. They're making me fill all this paperwork. I gotta have my bank account. I gotta fill out my direct deposit. I gotta fill out all this stuff, right? All this stuff to get my paycheck. Now, instead of taking it as an opportunity of like, okay, well, how much you guys gonna match? How much you guys gonna put in here? Well, how long would that take? Okay, well, what benefits can I get, right? Because there was a company somebody I know got hired at, and they were like, well, we're going to give you $500 in your HSA account, which is great because your health savings account you can directly use at different doctorate offices. You can use at different locations. You can use it for massages. You can use it for, you can go to CVS and buy foot ointment, whatever, you know what I mean? And it still counts. And so a lot of times what happens is people get into a mode where they don't want to be accountable, right? Let's just go there. We don't want to be accountable. And so we're frustrated because life is making us accountable, right? Life eventually will make you accountable. Okay, lady, why are you parked like that? She's a straight dummy. I'm so mad. Why are they closed? Could have went straight to my location. Love it. Okay, anyway. Let me see. We'll go back to the old video. Driving and vlog. My grandparents' renter's been there in 45 years. Woo, Jesus. Congratulations, TC. All right. So that's disappointing. I went to go. I drove 40 minutes out of the way, and they're not here today. Great. That pisses me off. Highly pisses me off, but that's okay. I'm going this direction, and it'll be fine. So, long and the story short, most people know what they need to do, but their excuse is how can they do bare minimum? That's really what it is, right? Like, I love when people say, well, I work 40 hours a week and I shouldn't be hungry in America. But if you start asking them questions like, well, how much do you make an hour? What city do you live in? What car do you drive? What's your student loan debt? All right, when you start doing that, they get, oh, damn, Ericka, here you go with that. And it's like, no, these are real questions. We have to ask them because then it starts making context clue sense. But for you just to be like, I'm angry because I work 40 hours a week, but I'm not being compensated, you start being upset. Like, well, let's find out the root of the problem. Let's figure out how to help you. Well, then you look up and there wasn't a problem. The problem is that person. And that's the only person, like, again, no matter who's in the White House, it matters. Don't get it twisted. Well, it don't matter who's in the White House. It's what you decide to do in your house, right? You know, a lot of people say, man, you know, these white people don't want you to have such jobs, right? You know, whatever they be saying, whatever. Or you can literally say, well, do you want to start your own thing? Oh, no, I don't want to do that. That's too many rules, too many paperwork. You know, by the time I do all this and that, I mean, it's better if I just work. Well, then if you decided, take this, Abe says, like, take the deal. Like, if you can do better, right? But the problem with the majority of our community and most communities is we don't make enough money. We weren't making enough money to begin with, right? And if we really sit down on a sheet of paper and look at our life, yeah, of course these parents are mad as hell with these kids. That's why I love those little memes where people show their parents are so happy and calm with their grandkids than they are with their kids. I like, yeah, because they were growing up, they didn't know what the hell they were doing, and then they were pissed about, oh damn, I have to take care of this kid. I have to do this, right? I just saw the video of this parent pulling out of the driveway and turning the car like she's leaving, and the kids at the door, you know, she's yelling at them. They're dropping paperwork. They're spilling their backpack. One kid's running back and forth trying to get his shoes. The girl's dropping stuff. She's like, just leave me then. And the person in the car, clearly a parent, is like, come on now. Do it. We're already late. You're making me late. And I'm like, that comes out of you guys not having a schedule. That comes out of you guys, you know, the parent clearly is not getting their morning started on time. And then they're chaotically yelling at their kid. It's like, how do you expect that kid to go to school and perform well in any capacity? How? You're stressing them the hell out at the door. But that's kind of where people are in life. They've made bad choices. They're running against the clock. They're dropping their paperwork. They're falling all over themselves. Oh my God, I gotta retire next year. No, you don't. You don't have to retire next year. It'd be great if you retired next year, but you don't have to retire, right? Some of you are going to have to work an additional 10 years, and that is the only way you're going to live a decent life. So if you're going to have to work more years, let's at least work for the higher pay that we think we deserve. Let's at least make more money, right? Because some people, if you start talking about owning land, being a landlord, owning rentals, oh no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be bothered with toilets and people. Oh, I don't want to do it. Okay. You start talking about stock market. Oh, I don't understand the stock market. I don't think I have enough money to invest. I just don't want to. I just can't do it. Okay. Then you start talking to them about other options, starting a business, maybe a side bit hustle. Oh no, that's just too much. You know, I work so hard. I'm so tired. I work the hours every week, and basically, they want you to let them complain about life. And when you offer a solution, they got another problem for it. And you be like, look, baby, Kimbrel, the clip I posted on Instagram, he basically said, learn to read or learn to fail humbly. Because guess what? Nobody cares. Right? When people say it must be nice, it's like same way it must be nice when I spent all those years studying and reading and working. You were playing, having kids out of wedlock, acting crazy, doing whatever. It must be nice. Because at some point, this is your life. This is your 75 years. Right? And people love saying, well, if I just go overseas, I go live in Panama, I go live in Venezuela, I go live in Thailand, it's gonna be so much better. I'm gonna pay $300 in rent and life is gonna be easy. And I go, cool. I love that for you. I really do. But at some point, you're talking about in American dollars. You're talking about your American dollars being continuously made. All right. How do I keep having these American dollars in this country? Because you ain't gonna make it on their dollars whatsoever. So that means that person that's gonna go live overseas is gonna have to do one or two things. What? They're gonna have to have a job that lets them be remote, so they still have to report to a boss, right? Two, they're gonna have some type of business that allows them to do either contract work and allows them to what? Be remote. We still keep coming back to you will have to have some type of vehicle, business vehicle or job vehicle to pay your bills. And so this kind of thought process that I'm going to get out of stress by if I just go somewhere else and be on vacation for the next 20 years, it's going to be great. Okay. Again, you can go to Thailand, you can't own any property unless you have a wife and they own it. Or you have a husband and they own it. Foreigners can't own. Same thing in Bali. Bali's changed it a little bit. I think it's called a lease or something. But they've made some adjustments to theirs because they need that money. But at the end of the day, when you're talking to people, they really want you to be real stupid with them. They want you to play dumb with them. Oh, my boss is killing me. Oh, the work is too much. My back, my neck, my shoulders are like, oh man, maybe you should schedule yourself some more massages. Oh, I can't afford a massage. Well, at Massage Empty, or if you go to Hand and Stone, it's like $69 a month packages, and that'll cover the cost of your massage. Oh, that's just $69. I just can't. You're like, what? What kind of life are you living? Right? And then you realize that person didn't want to solve the problem. They just wanted to complain. Right? You ask some of these ladies out here, and that's why Kevin Samuel made so much money. You ask these ladies out here, oh, I want a man that's rich and does this. Okay, ma'am, are you willing to work out every day of the week and change your wardrobe and be nice? Oh God, no. Why can't they just accept me as I am? You'll have men calling Kevin Samuel. I want women. I want a girlfriend. These women are bad. Well, sir, what do you look like? I'm 5'4". I'm 350 pounds, and I work at Walmart in distribution in the back. What, sir? Come on, come on, sir. Come on, right? So again, we get to these pity parties instead of like the reality of this is just logic. This is just math, right? And I get it. People are like, Ericka, you need to have empathy and compassion, for people who didn't get the right information growing up. For sure. Do I have compassion and empathy for people not getting the right information? For sure. But I don't allow you to stay there. We can't allow you to be 57 years old and say it's because your mom didn't show you something at 12. You've had an additional 30 plus years outside of your mama's house. What were you doing? Huh? Right? And again, most people say, well, everybody doesn't have friends like you have, it's different. But I'll put it to you this way. Long story short, if you flipped your whole life and none of your friends ever invited you to an MLM meeting or start a business thing, or you never had any kind of ads or marketing, like, I'm kind of curious, what have you been doing? Where have you been living? What kind of lifestyle have you been living? Because every day I'll see people, there's a guy's mastermind I'm in. Dude was a drug addict for 10 years. First thing he come out the gate, white boy, they're like, look, we got this grass cutting job for you. He starts cutting grass with the group, and he check. It's I'm talking about an old pickup truck. I'm talking about that truck is holding on for his life, okay? Old pickup truck gets the old pickup truck and is able to start doing deliveries and runs and picks up stuff from Home Depot. And now he's got opportunity to have a bigger lawn care position. Then eventually he starts his own roofing company and does all this work and realizes, you know what, I can take this money and I can do some type of online business. And it didn't take him many years to do that, right? It took him about good 5 years to get back right. And when you talk to people about, you can get back on board and back on track in a couple years, even if you lose money, even if you lose everything, right? You can start over. It's really the mindset. But you'll meet some people, man, I lost my apartment 27 years ago, and I just never got back right. Never? Baby, I'd have left the town I was in, then if it was that bad. I'd have got my car and started over somewhere else. There's no reason to stay somewhere if it's like that, right? But people want to get away with bare minimum. They want to be really, really comfortable. And that's why when people talk about UBI, nobody wants that, Ericka. Nobody wants food stamps. Nobody wants to be on Section 8. Oh, they do, though. They do, though. If they can get up every day and kind of lounge around and not have to work, man, that's their ideal life. Have you not seen these people out here who want to do nothing, be slugs? That's my grandpa used to call it, be a slug. Do a bunch of nothing. It's always hands-free driving. I got my hands on the steering wheel, my bad. This is up in the camera mount. But long and the story short, I really want y'all to really think about and take a self-assessment of the people you're talking to, the people you're interacting with at work and at life. Because when you look, I think Kendra Barnes had a great video where she was working in government in DC, and she asked for, to keep moving up. And they're like, oh, you're so young. Why do you want to move up? You got time, right? Because the average person is going to be working a job for 30 years. So they just assume you're in a government job. Why are you pushing so hard? Why are you so ambitious? Why do you want to keep getting promotions? This is a retirement position. That's how people in the government work. They just did it chill. So all of a sudden, she tell her coworkers, yeah, I'm retiring. They're like, what do you mean? You're 32. What do you mean you're retiring? Oh, I've been buying rentals with my paychecks. What? Huh? How? So again, when you really like push people against the narrative that you have to be in debt your whole life, people look at you crazy. They look at you absolutely crazy. Like, I was telling somebody the other day, I said, I will pack this whole place up. I'll sell half of it and I will start over in another city. I know that Texas is very strong for the money. I know Texas. It's just like, oh my! Right now, I'm on my way to an event, a mastermind event of 40 people, because of that reason. Like, it's who you know, it's what you're doing, it's how you're progressing. Simple as that. It's who you know, what you're doing, how you're progressing. Anything beyond that, I can't help you, baby. right? Because 9 times out of 10, I'll ask people what they're doing in their town. Oh, my town's just so bad. Ain't nothing going on. Nobody's thinking. And I'll hop on the computer in 10 minutes. And I'll look up and I'll find real groups in your town. I'll get on bigger pockets, find people doing what you're saying is not being done in your town. I'll find events on Eventbrite in your town. That's why people will come to a city like Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, and they'll be having a damn blast. Why? Because they're a new person there. They don't have all these hangups. They start looking for the opportunity. And this is why we talk about moving. We don't talk about moving just for the sake of saying, oh, I left my hometown. We talk about moving in the context of, will you apply yourself? Most of you aren't even applying yourself in your hometown. What's the advantage other than hanging out and having cookouts every weekend with your family? Which is a good thing. Don't get it twisted. It's a good thing. But 9 times out of 10, most people aren't even trying or striving in their own hometown. So somebody else will come to your town, and this is the same thing that's happening in Texas right now. People will come in this town, they'll make a ton of money, and the locals are mad. Same thing happened in Atlanta, right? All those New York people kept leaving New York for the past 30 years to go to Atlanta. The average business owner, black business owner you meet in Atlanta, they are not from Georgia. They are not from Atlanta. They ain't born in Atlanta. They're from somewhere else, or they're from New York or Upper New York, where they saw, man, it's so easy here. Y'all could have been made all this money. What's going on? It's how they look at the city. It's how they view the opportunity, right? But if you think life is supposed to be easy mode, where you just chill and you can just stay in the same spot and not have to do anything, listen, you can be on the right track and be sitting down. Just I'm in the right position. I'm in the right direction. Man, a train will come hit you. Okay? And the train is life, of course. But again, that's the issue. You really try to ask people like, okay, what's your plans? What's your goals? I mean, and I get it. Everybody's like, man, you're so harsh. I'm like, no, I just grew a parent who didn't play. It was like, what's your short-term goals? What's your long-term goals? I started talking about going to college. When I started talking about being an entrepreneur, like, okay, well, what's the goal here? You know, if I got a particular type of job, what's the goal with this job? What are you trying to do? Right? And again, if you ever read Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, or you read really the best one is Cash Flow Quadrant is the real gem of the books. I know everybody talks about Rich Dad Poor Dad, but really it's Cash Flow Quadrant, because when you start talking to some of your family members who are security minded focused, which I come from a family of military and cops, if you just work the job that the government gives you, and then you take the money and you get yourself a house, then you get yourself a second house, everything will work out, right? Because they're following an old blueprint. It does work. Majority of my family has nice military paycheck, or they got military disability, and they got a house. It does work. People who deviated from that plan ain't got no money, right? Not everybody, not me, but. And so now you get out of adulthood and you start making money, you're working, and you start telling your parents, oh man, you know, if I just keep working, I can put money in my stock account. Well, people who are very secure minded are like, what is that going to do for me? If you start telling your family you're going to start buying real estate, I don't know. Okay. Well, you still got to keep working. You got to get to a bigger number, because their mind, they're doing the math. They're doing retirement math because they're older than you, or at least they should be. Now, God bless some of y'all. I know some people got parents living like they 24 going on 70, 24 going on 50, you know, in their head, right? They're still 24 in the mind, 50 in the body. Goofy, silly stuff. God bless you. That's got to be hard. Everybody that's older isn't wise, right? But I would encourage you to get around people and spend less time, not remove them out your life, because there's some people, parents and siblings, that are like this. But I would say spend less time with people who have no goals, no ambition, no desire to do better, right? We all got a cousin that's the life of the party at the cookout. But would you hang out with them every day if you had to? No, you would not. No, you would not. Everybody's got, you know, a couple fun family members who are a blast. Their life is a hot mess. They're fun though. They're fun, right? Not every day. Because the more you hang out with Junebug every day, look up, you're gonna be drinking every day with Junebug. The more you hang out with people doing a bunch of nothing, you're gonna be doing a bunch of nothing. I highly recommend you don't do that. I highly recommend it. All right. Because really your life is just the composite of who you hang out with. When people say they want to date or marry somebody rich, like, who do you hang out with? What, right? If you ain't around them environments, it ain't gonna happen. Now, this is something, and I'm not knocking it. I get it. I've seen it and I understand it. They were talking about these football players mess with the same three women every year. Why? And I was laughing because I know why. It's proximity. It's the environment. It's when you're trying to talk to somebody new. Whenever I start trying to date somebody new and I tell them about my, oh, I'm doing this, they're like, I'm a crazy person. What? And so that's why I started telling people, look, I do affiliate marketing. I work in sales. You just have to, because 9 times out of 10, most people are shocked that you're doing something irregular, 9 to 5 regular, right? And then on top of that, it's just a limited number of people who really have a great mindset about it. That's why when I tell people you should meet people at conferences, you should meet people in the same kind of space you're in, people get upset about that. But I'm like, that's why you keep seeing these football players with the same 3 women. Because that woman is in that proximity. She's in that environment. She knows how to throw on the dress for these events if she has to. She knows how to talk in front of some of these people. She knows how to talk in front of some of these lawyers, right? And some of these lawyers and some of these very sophisticated people. She knows how to go to a golf charity event. Let's not get it twisted. Even though we see some of these ladies as baby mamas, they put themselves in a position that they know how to act in some of these very nice events and locations. I'm gonna wrap some of this up here. So again, we know what bare minimum is. We know what bare minimum isn't. And so proximity, right? If you get in proximity where everybody in your group is married, they're living positive middle-class lives, they have higher income jobs, you come around talking about, I just want to be single and party, that energy won't mix. It won't, right? Yes, align yourself around folks who are moving the same direction. Personally, I don't even attend family events. 9 times out of 10, what ends up happening unfortunately is more proactive family members kind of move away, and you'll see that in all cultures. So again, Corey, this is a prime example of this. Let's do the math one more time. 1 in 10 Asians have a business. That means on paper, right? 1 in 34 whites, 1 in 54 Hispanics, and 1 in 106 blacks. So as you go down that scale, the unemployment for Hispanics and blacks are high. Why is that? Right? Again, if I pull out all the unemployment opportunities, all the data, the tech, all these jobs that you could get, the average black person is not trying to go get trades, get blue collar trades, be a plumber, be a welder, be an electrician. They're not. Right? There's a kind of a movement turning it, but black unemployment comes from lack of black skill. And nobody wants to address that, right? And some of it's up here too, right? Because I'm meeting people who are like, am I too old to get in tech? I mean, should I apply? I'm like, why are you self-sabotaging? You can just apply like everybody else, right? You should strive for it like everybody else. And so you see some self-sabotage. Again, everybody talks about the black data. At the end of the day, the black data just shows you the average person is working in food service, CNA, lower healthcare positions. When they could go to community college for 2 years, instead of being a CNA, they can go be a radiologist. They can be an x-ray tech. They can be a surgical tech. There's this big drive in the black community to say, well, I didn't know. No one told me. Baby, what do you want us to do? Come to your door, kick it down your door, take a spoon and shove it in your mouth like that? We can't do that. Society won't function. That's why the other day when we talked about black blockchain, I said, Jimmy, we just trying to get these people not to have a Chime bank account. They'll know the ins and outs of Mariah Carey's life and Nick Cannon's life and be on 8-hour hangouts. But then they complain about the black data. I can tell you why the black data is like what it is. They ain't spending 8 hours watching math videos. They're not spending 8 hours learning how to break into certain jobs videos. They're not spending 8 hours trying to figure out how to have a handyman company. Why are Latino Americans 13% increase in wealth in America right now? Entrepreneurship. But not just any entrepreneur, not credit repair businesses, not social media businesses, not consulting businesses. I'm talking about, can they fix stuff? fixing things, repairing things, handyman services. And then they do what? Buy a home. It's just that simple. Buy a home, right? And 9 times out of 10, their wealth is gone up from what? Very boring, very key things. They can fix things. And then if they realize, okay, I'm only getting paid so much money, if I go fix more things on the weekend on my own time, I'll make more money. Right? And this is the problem. Nobody really wants to talk about that. That's really the black data problem, is when you go into these communities. Prime example, HVAC repair in Atlanta. They're offering free HVAC repair training in Atlanta. Can you get these kids to come, black kids, to do it for free? It's free. It's not going. You can come to this community college for free, as long as you're going for HVAC repair certification. Oh man, ain't nobody want to do that. Ain't nobody. I don't want to do that. Right? And it really comes from lack of exposure of opportunities. Right? Because if you knew, the average electrician or the apprentice or any of these jobs and trades, you're going to make 50, 60K a year in your apprentice level. Then when you get beyond that, you're going to make 100K, right? Again, people love hitting you with you're ignoring the data. The entrepreneurship won't fix. Money will fix the problem. Why are so many black people in jail unjustly? Why are so many black people not being able to come out on bond? Money. Oh, why didn't you go to college? My family couldn't afford it. Money. Why didn't you go get this new trade? Oh, I couldn't take the test. How much was the test? 150. That's money. It's really the key component, right? It's really the key component. No one wants to hear that part, though. Cash flow quadrant is the gem. Everyone's got to go get that book, Who Moved My Cheese? Yes. Yes. I mean, again, as kids, we're talking about the grasshopper and the ant, right? Grasshopper and the ant. The ant saved the money away, right? Man, mind your business. Two hands on you. Most people have settled into life and don't want to move laterally or horizontally. They enjoy familiarity and don't like change. Yeah, that's the average person. That's the average person. And again, here's this. I get this question all the time. What's a way I can increase my money, and I'm on disability, and there's an income limit place? I want you to be really honest with yourself. There's a million ways for you to do it. If it has to be under the radar, or you have to, again, this is the welfare trap, right? I don't know why you're on disability. That's not my business. That's your business. And again, that could be something that could be done in a phone call. But the check that government is giving you, can you make more than that? If you can make more than that and it doesn't physically harm you, that's what you should be doing, right? The check is for people who are to the point they can't live, right? America doesn't want you like sleep on the street corner panhandling because you're missing a leg, and so they are like, oh damn, can we not have people panhandling that are missing legs? Like, America made the disability thing for extreme cases. They just did. They made it for extreme cases. So now I've talked about Andre Hatch's mobile notary. That's something you could do, right? I've talked about, you might need to move to a lower cost city. If you're still going to keep the disability, something you can do. But then most people that are on disability, or they need to be near a city where they can go to the doctor and different things like that. So I don't have this list of things someone on disability can do, because to me, I've met people on disability who could be off of it, really. Let me see. I knew a long-time renters, elderly sisters who were apartment building hallway neighbors in a majority city. The close proximity worked for them. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Sexy and broke. No, thank you. Okay. Okay. Anyway, let me finish this out. You done with it? There are many things online. I made a transition to tech because I had hated what I did for 20 years. There you go. He said you either gonna eat out here or get eaten. That's basically what's going on with people. Yep, I bought my first home last year. Man, I'm telling y'all, there's a woman out of Houston. She had bought her first condo, and it was like, it had to be about 5 years ago. She got Andre Hatch's mobile notary course. And she said, oh my God, I just want you to know, I got my condo, my mortgage, I think her mortgage is like $400 and some change or some shit like that. And she'd been in Houston 20 years. And she literally quit her job after 6 months because she was like, between all my savings and the money I'm making for mobile notary, I don't have to work this job I hate because I own the condo. And this is what I be trying to tell y'all. Like, it's a townhouse. It's a townhouse condo, but I think it's a condo in Houston. She's on the edge of Houston. But I was like, if someone had told more people that in 2018, they'd have been like, oh, you guys are just making this up. And I'm like, no, now you see in 2023, the rise of inflation and what it costs and how much they're going to be charging y'all. Don't get it twisted. In California, certain colleges offer free accounting, web design, CompTIA, medical billing, coding. Yeah, all that stuff. And you have to be looking. That's why when kids be like, oh, I don't have money for college. And then you start asking about scholarships. Have you filled out scholarship? Oh, what? Huh? The reason I Will Teach You to Be Rich is so wealthy. He got I think it's almost, $3 million in scholarships in Harvard. He just kept writing scholarships. So. Money answers all things. There's several in the bottom. Yep. City of Houston's offer free tech training. Yeah, here's the thing. To me, even the technical sales roles that are paying people 55 to 60,000. If you do that for 6 months, you should go ahead and apply to be an account manager executive. Account executive is paying 100 to 150,000. You're doing the same thing, but different. The account executive is now on the other end of like, once the inbound sales have came in, once we've established a relationship with the company, and we're going to be working on getting sales with those companies. So to me, again, that's also a problem when you don't push yourself. Trades are always winning, always. So anyway, I gotta roll up out of here. Let me see. Yeah, they're selling their companies. Like, Cody Sanchez isn't lying. What she's saying is true. Like, I'm not gonna somebody's like, oh, you're hating on Cody Sanchez. I'm like, I'm not hating on Cody Sanchez. I'm just saying that 9 times out of 10 people are like excuse me. People are, oh, I'm gonna buy a company from an older dude. Well, you still gotta find workers. You still gotta find cash flow. There's so many things you gotta do. He said, this tech worker is so sweet, man. Just a bunch of Zoom meetings. But once you're in, you're in. Put in the work. I know, ain't it? The people don't want to hear it, though. It's unfortunate. Like, just do enough. Just do bare minimum. This is good enough. It's like, no. This person's like, why are you always pushing, Ericka? And I'm like, I have to, because if you don't advocate for yourself, nobody else is gonna advocate for you. Right? I hate even referring to the dating people, but they're like, well, why didn't you make that a requirement? Why didn't you make this person marry you before you had a baby? I'm like, y'all can't force a grown man to marry nobody. I mean, that's the community pressure, that's the society pressure, and that's how they're raised. If they're raised in an environment that you just keep making babies and going house to house, that person's a reptile. That's lizard behavior. Even monkeys don't do that. Monkeys kind of pair off and be like, all right, you my monkey, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like people are trying to promote lizard behavior as normal, like Nick Cannon behavior as normal. Elon Musk having 13 kids is not normal. I know his reasoning. He said basically there's too many stupid people, and he says smart people should be making lots of babies. But at the end of the day, it's still lizard behavior. It is. I've been putting the links up all week. One of my clients is currently buying an appliance repair business, and he's in tech. There you go. Again, when people start talking about they want to buy businesses and they're going to buy rental properties, you need income for that, right? You need a higher paying job for that. That's the part nobody wants to talk about. That's all. That's why I've been like, I know people get mad at me, but I'm like, a lot of y'all could save a lot of headache if you just go get that extra 20, 30K income you needed this year. But what happens? Nobody wants to ask for a raise. Nobody wants to switch jobs. Nobody wants to spend time switching jobs and interviewing for other jobs, right? We get in a comfort mode. But the only way you get your freedom from these jobs you don't like is putting money away, either investing the money, right? It's either buying rentals or it's buying a business or creating a side income that's not dependent on that job. That's it. The only reason I'm getting in some of these rooms is because I realize banks will give you a certain amount of money if you're tied into certain careers. I went on this one bank's website, and I'll probably do an update video on the funding bundle, but like they literally had a $50,000 loan if you were a doctor. Debt to income didn't matter, long as you were a doctor. They had a $40,000 loan for nurses. And I guess it came out of the whole pandemic and people, but it's a working capital. It's a, like, they don't call it a working capital. They call it a personal loan. And I was trying to find all the requirements. Like, what is the requirement? It really is. You're a doctor? Are you a medical doctor? Are you practicing? You got a paycheck? Great. Because they're doing the math. Same thing with tech jobs. Okay, you work in this person. Okay, they going along. Listen, when I work in financial aid, here's the secret. We have a little piece of paper on the desk, and we can slide across the paper with a little ruler. Okay, you've been in school this many years. Okay, your debt is this high. You got this many student loans. Okay, I'm gonna max you out this year, baby, at 10K. Okay, like there's a ton of stuff that we literally just, it's already written down. We're just plugging it in. Same thing. That's why these people, these tech jobs, are being able to buy rental properties. The same reason I keep telling you guys, the same reason I keep telling you guys about some of these banks and some of these funding opportunities is because they're really just plug and play. Right? Let's say they're not giving you loans. You say, hey, I want to take a loan against my stock account. But if you're a person who's been working the past 20 years with no stock account, you can't take a loan against it. Right? When people on here talking, I'm gonna take money out of my 401k. Why? You can take a loan against it. There's a million other ways to do it. You don't have to drain the money and be taxed 50%. That doesn't make sense. This is an important part. She said most people don't have enough intellectual bandwidth to move past their day-to-day. And you know where that comes from? Lack of rest, lack of just sit down and compress time, and the food we eat. Like I don't know if you guys saw me in the video the other day. You probably didn't. I had spinach, pineapple, mint, and I had a beets mode where it has just beets and stuff. And you literally have to track some of this stuff. Like what are the vitamins I'm taking in? I take this magnesium thing in the morning, and it's kind of like mind clarity, and it does wonders. I think I might have one here in the car. I always pack a couple extra ones in my bag. Hold on. Before I go do any road trips. Let me see. I do. I have one. I'm gonna show y'all. You get it? Camera strip. There it is. And so I take this magnesium lythanate, and it's a vanilla cream flavor, but it basically, I mean, it just helps you, I mean, mentally, physically. Magnesium, what y'all will learn from this pandemic is magnesium and vitamin D are and calcium are things that no one calculated for. And when they figured it out, they started running vitamin D and magnesium and calcium to all these patients. Go ask some nurses, ask some nurses. But what happened is they realized people who had low vitamin D, people who had low absorption rates, if they had high blood pressure, overweight, obese, those were people that were dying from COVID. That just is what it is, right? So 9 times out of 10, the average person is just kind of drinking junk, getting some Starbucks, getting a burger, not really putting any positive, good things into their body, and so they're so tired they don't have the bandwidth to sit back and think. And so a lot of times people say, well, Eric, I have kids and I have all this stuff going on. If you can't sit in your closet, I don't care if it's your closet, make your kids go to bed on time, 8 o'clock, right? Then go sit in your closet if you got to for an hour and chart out your life or what you want your life to look like in the next 5 years. You got way big problems. You got way big problems. There you go. Some of it, yes. Some of it, no. It depends on if he's like in 10th grade. Yeah, he can go ahead and start. Like there's people that they start the stuff in 10th, 11th grade. I know. I literally tell people step by step. I've done it myself, and I know other people who you lost everything. You start over with a job paying 90 to 100K a year. You literally invest 1/4 of your check into the stock market, and you can go into the bank and ask for a loan. And I'm not talking about day trading. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just literally talking about putting a set of money, 25K over into that account in dividends, and then go into the bank and they will loan against it. And then you're kind of back in the algorithm of credit and other things. Right? Let's say you don't do the bare minimum, because that's what people like to do. You get this new job paying 90 to 100. You catch up your credit card debt, you get a few new clothes for work, and you pay down your car or something like that. Okay, now you have new goals because you done paid your credit cards down. You done got some new clothes. You done paid off stuff. You should be, instead of going, let me get a new car, which is what most people do. They're in an apartment. They're like, oh, time for a new car. Time for upgrade my life. No. That's your time the second year to be heavily kind of going, okay, let me start putting the money in my 401k, or let me go find a house I want to live in, or let me find a rental property somewhere I can buy. Because that 90 to 100K, unless you're just in eyeballs debt, kids, everything, you should be able to pull out 10K and be able to invest it into a property. There you go. I have affiliate link for it. That's why I didn't hold it up that long. How can someone ignore proper nutrition? You are a time bomb. Yeah, that's the biggest thing I tell people. I'm like, my significant other eats a lot of salads, and I'm like, that's cool. Like, cool, more salads is great. I'm more of a like, can I drink the greens? Can I drink the vegetables? Can I drink the vitamins person? So, he'll be like, here, there's a salad. I'm like, here, put some steak on top of my salad, right? I'm big on protein. But as you get older, you got to keep adjusting that thing too. So you got adults out here who are eating like they were 25, hot Cheetos, terribly, right? Like, I remember this, a lot of people, they're talking about they don't drink water. I'm like, man, you're peeing battery acid. What do you mean you don't drink water? So there's a lot of people out here living crazy as hell. But that's no excuse for that. So look, we've been here 57 minutes. I'm gonna fix the title since it bothered some of y'all. But at the end of the day, like, what do we learn of this? If you're gonna be paying somebody else's rent for 34 years, you kind of are at the mercy of that person's decision making. You're really at the mercy of what they decide to do for you and your family. Right? The biggest and best thing you could do, if I were you, is 2 to 5 year increments. When people start talking about, I'm not going to work myself to death, Eric, I'm not going to do all this, 2 to 5 increments. You can have a 2-year plan and a 5-year plan. And if you look up in 5 years, you're in the same apartment, same car, same struggles. You know what I'm saying? You have to do the self-assessment. A lot of people blame children. Like, so many people blame children. That Uber driver I was telling you about in Detroit, if I could just get on Section 8, I can get caught with my bills. I'm living check to check. And my husband left, and now I'm dating this guy who's a boxer. Maybe he can get on Section 8. It's like, girl, why are you sitting here trying to think 50 ways into the government when there's so many ways up? We have a tendency for people to say, well, at least I'm not homeless. At least I'm not a baby mom. At least I'm not this. They go look into the pit of the homeless. At least I'm not a homeless man. Sir, there's a million other men higher ranked than you. Why aren't you looking up? All right? Why are you not looking laterally? Because the tendency is like, well, at least I'm doing better than them. No, that's the wrong way to look at it. When people say water's nasty, okay, so if you're a water drinker, all water doesn't taste the same. So, but if somebody say water's nasty, like they don't drink water, they pee is battery acid. I'm telling you, when you start really, I'm telling you, we got that family member. She was in that house for 26 years. The man came and offered her a house. And I've heard more stories than that. Like, I was telling somebody about that, and 2 other people said, yeah, my aunt too. My uncle too. Like, the landlord felt bad and offered to sell it to them first. And they said no, they didn't have any money. How are you there for 30 years on this same budget and have no money? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot there to it. So, anyways, you guys, this is your girl Ericka from the Classic Climb blog. Make sure you get on our affiliate marketing list. We should have something out tomorrow. If it don't come out, my bad. We should also have, I think, an ebook's coming out in affiliate marketing. An ebook's coming out in the breaking into tech. I think so. We also have, if you look in the community wall, we have a ton of links of Andre Hatchett's mobile notary we've been posting. And I just want you guys to prosper. Okay, what's the point of this channel? Is to make more money, invest the difference, and live well. That's all. That's all. Right? That's the biggest thing of it. It's like invest the difference and live well. So hope this channel was helpful. Hope this video was helpful. All right, I got to get to this mastermind in Dallas. And so you guys have a great day. Uh-oh, somebody said that. Listen, it does happen, Sandra. You should have bought it, man. You should have totally bought it. You know what I mean? Thank you, Dre, for the super chat. 34 years is a mortgage. I don't care what ideology you follow. That's an L. That's why I'm loving Gen Z real estate team. They're not paying rent, only mortgages. Why not? Go skip all that. Skip all that. What you need, especially there's 5,000 mortgage programs out there, right? People can talk to me all day about redlining and how they treated Black people, and I hear all that. That's not lost on me. But if I ask you what you and your Uncle Ricky been doing the past 5 years, and it ain't been shit but going to Myrtle Beach and cutting up and going to Miami, I already know my answer. You didn't want a house, right? There was a lady posting, she just wants a really nice apartment. You know, all her life she lived in low-income apartments. Well, damn, your whole life, that's your only aspiration, to live in a nice apartment? Okay. You know what I mean? Again, not all families are starting. I got to get off here. Not all families are starting from the same level, right? You'll talk to some families and they are literally in the doldrums, right? If they can just finish high school and get a job, they doing well, right? Then you're talking to other families who everybody in their families ever had a PhD, had master's degrees, they own their own homes. For you to like act like that's not normal is weird to them. So anyways, you guys, I gotta get rolling. I'll get riled up again. So let me get out of here. All right, you guys, this is your girl Ericka, Classic Climb blog. Later.